Welcome, gentlemen. All right, welcome to another Friday Blackbird workshop. Let's see. Well, looks like there's still people trickling into the room here. Um, let's see. I don't have any emailed in Blackbird workshop questions to get today started. All right, so I will just be waiting for you guys to put your questions into the Q&A window there for me to get this workshop started today. All right. So let's see here. All right. I got a frog in my throat already. Um, let's see here. Actually, no, I think I do recognize all the names in the room so far. But gentlemen, there's only 3 of you in the room so far. Um, So hopefully one of you has a Blackbird question for me to get things kicked off. So otherwise, yeah, I'll just wait for some others to enter into the room and yeah, ask again. So let's see here. All right, looks like Renato might have a question for me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can imagine that, right? These workshops are totally mandatory. Yeah, beyond is helpful, but yeah, when Jeremy and I, yeah, started Shark Indicators, uh, yeah, I told Jeremy that basically these live weekly workshops were going to be mandatory because, yeah, Bloodhound and, well, back then it was only Bloodhound, and there was nothing like Bloodhound. So, how would anybody know how to use Bloodhound? Unless you're really, really, what, had kind of I guess, a programmer's mindset there. So, anyways, let me get on to the question here. Hmm. All right. So Renato, I'm not sure what you mean by create an infinite loop. Um, I don't think I've heard that term infinite loop, used with an automated trading strategy. Uh, yeah. And so, and as far as YouTube issues, yeah, I don't know, man. You'll have to contact Google and see what's going on with YouTube. Maybe there's some kind of restriction in in your country. So I'm assuming you're in a different country, um, possibly. But anyways, yeah, I can't help you with YouTube. Um, but yeah, if you could define what you mean by create an infinite loop, um, yeah, I'm assuming this is more of a Blackbird question than a Bloodhound question, but um, yeah. All right. So, all right. So we're waiting on Renato's clarification here for me. And all right. So it looks like we do have some more people in the room. All right. So for the new people that just kind of joined us, I don't have any emailed in questions to get today's workshop started. So, so if you guys have questions, you know the drill. Go ahead and get them typed into the Q&A window there, and I'll get them answered for you. All right. Well, while I'm waiting on Renato to get me some more detail here, yeah, Albert's asking about right the elusive optimization release. Um, I I I don't know. Yeah, it's not close enough to give any speculation yet on that. So, the current deadline is basically it was supposed to be the end of March, and we're at the end of the March, so that deadline has come and gone. So, um, yeah, so um, I guess optimistically, the next deadline would be the end of April. So, but yeah, I don't have any clarification on when that will be. So, um, I do, I suspect that we will push out another beta release to the beta group on Discord there. Let's see here. Yeah. So if I pull up, are you kidding me? All right. No, I don't. Ah, sorry. All right. Let's open up another tab here. There we go. So, um, yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I suspect that we'll release at least one more beta update to to the beta testers on Discord prior to releasing the optimization. At least one, if not two. Obviously it depends on how this next beta release goes. Um, to that will determine if it's ready for prime time yet. So, you know. All right, let's see here. Looks like Renato got back to me. Oh, okay, yeah. So Renato is asking if you could clarify what what you mean by how can we create an infinite loop? I don't know how an infinite loop ties into Blackbird. Um, I've never, I don't think I've ever heard that term used for an automated trading system. Yeah, so if you could explain what you mean by an infinite loop, and how that relates to Blackbird, yeah, then then I'll understand what you're trying to get at there with your question. Um, hmm. All right. So I think I understand. Okay. So yeah. So I guess this is more of a basic question about, yeah, how an automated strategy works, or more specifically, yeah, how to get Blackbird, to trade automatically. Um, um, right. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So Renato is saying, so yeah, once a trade completes, then the system should start looking for another trade. Correct. Okay. Yeah. So let me just kind of, yeah, go over the basics here of Blackbird. All right, so let's put that away. Um, let's see here. Um, all right, so let's open up Blackbird. So if you want to build an automated trading system, or if you want Blackbird to automatically, yeah, trade for you, you need a minimum of two elements. First, you need a trade signal, right? So that can be either Bloodhound, or if you have a custom third-party indicator that also provides trade signals, as a value, right? So so this third-party indicator, um, it can't just only draw arrows on the chart, right? Arrows and dots and whatnot drawn on the chart, those are not trade signals. Those are visual elements, right? So if you are using a third party, it actually needs to have an output, kind of like NinjaTrader's candlestick pattern indicator, right? It actually has a hidden plot that tells you when that candlestick pattern is found. So same thing with the third party indicator, right? But most people are going to be using Bloodhound. So now let's just go with this for example, right? So you need to load in your Bloodhound system, right? That has your trade signals that you want to execute on. And I guess just for example, here, let me just use my little crossover test here. Bloodhound file, and then I'll put it on this. There you go. Price inflection with the MACD filter, right? That generates a ton of signals there, right? So that's your first element. You need your Bloodhound trade signals. And then you need to tell Blackbird what type of orders do you want to use to trade. So what is your entry order? Is it a market? Is it a limit entry? Is it a stop entry, right? So I'll just go with market. And that's it, right? So you need at least these two elements there. And of course, if you want, you can add a profit target and a stop loss if you want. But of course, those are not required, right? You can trade without those, if you want. That's up to, obviously that's up to the, every trader's discretion there. Something like that. And that's it. So that's all you need. And then, all right, so once you get that set up, Blackbird's going to tell you, all right, you need to reload the chart so we can load Bloodhound. So we can get NinjaTrader to load up Bloodhound. So let's go and do a F5 to reload the chart. All right, now this Bloodhound template, or this Bloodhound file here, right? It's got a boatload of logic templates here, because I just use it to, for examples there. So, so if your Bloodhound system also has a bunch of different logic templates, make sure you have the correct one selected that Blackbird is going to be trading on, right? So, all right, and then the last step here is just to turn on the auto trader, and there we go. And now Blackbird will trade forever with no restrictions. So, all right, that's all it takes. So, and then, and then the rest of the settings here are basically applying various limitations and restrictions, such as money management, right? Do you want to stop, if you hit some kind of maximum loss for the day, or do you want to stop if you hit some kind of maximum profit for the day, right? Things of that nature, right? So that, so these money management rules will turn off Blackbird, prevent it, it'll stop it from trading for the day, and then it resets the next day. So, and of course, you can limit your trades based on the time of day, right? So, right, so probably what just happened there. There we go. All right, so for example, I think most people are probably using, the RTH session there. So that way Blackbird's not trading overnight, right? But again, the only two things you need is a trade signal source and set up your, define your orders, or your order set there. And then just enable the auto trader and you're good to go. All right, so if you have any, if you want any kind of further clarification on anything, just, let me know. Also, I would recommend, since you're asking this question, I'm going to assume here that you haven't watched the Getting Started videos here. Let's see here. So let me go to support, and then I'm going to go to the documentation page here. So let's open this up over here. And then right here in small print is the Getting Started videos right there. So let's go to there. All right, so quick start videos. And then, all right, so this is a combination of Bloodhound and Blackbird. So let's see here. Yeah, so it looks like number 5 is the first Blackbird there. Yeah, and number 6 would be Blackbird. And 7 is going to be, Blackbird as well for back testing. Right. So, so there you go. So these, well, actually, I'd say number 5 is going to be the one that teaches you how to set up Blackbird, and how to set it up to auto trade there. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So, a little follow-up clarification here. Yeah, so on your third statement here, or your second kind of follow-up clarification here, you mentioned that, so once a trade completes, so once a trade goes flat, then the system should start looking for another trade. So that is exactly what Blackbird does here. And actually, maybe we might get a good example here. So, actually, no, you know what? Hold on. These exit orders are a little too tight here. So let me make some quick adjustments. So let's make this a 5 ATR profit, and let's make this stop loss a 5.5 ATR. There we go. So now these orders won't get hit quite so quickly there. And that's, yeah, let me close that out here. So what I'm trying to illustrate here is that if Blackbird does have a trade open, it will ignore any additional trade signals. So let me just mark this, right? So Blackbird put a position on right there on that trade signal. So if another one comes in, it's going to be ignored because Blackbird already has a trade open, right? So yeah, I mean, you can imagine, look at all these short signals. Can you imagine how many contracts you would have open if Blackbird kept piling on more and more, or if Blackbird kept opening more and more positions, more contracts, right? You know, you probably would go into a margin call. So, so to prevent that, Blackbird only will execute one trade at a time, or it won't, yeah, it will only add, place, um, it will, yeah, so there's a good example, right? We had 3 trade signals afterwards, but Blackbird ignored those and we still only had 1 contract short, right? So Blackbird will only execute however many order sets you have defined here, right? So if we wanted to, right, we could put on, 2 contracts there, and just to create a realistic example there, actually, no, let's do this. There we go. All right, so we have a 3 ATR profit and a 5 ATR profit there, right? So two contracts, right? So Blackbird will only execute these 2 order sets per, or Blackbird will only keep these 2 order sets. Wait, that's wrong way of phrasing it. So when more trade signals come in, Blackbird will not execute another set of order sets, right? Yeah, let's see if we can get another example going here. All right, if we can get another short signal. There we go. All right, let's mark that there. Right. So there we go. We can see Blackbird executed both order set A and order set B. And even though more trade signals are coming in, it's not piling on to the existing position that's already open there. So, yeah. All right. So, yeah. So there, let me continue to clear out these questions here, go through them one at a time. All right, so we got that one, we got that one. All right, so Renata's asking for other places to get support. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. All right, so let's go to the home page here. All right, so under support, if we go to contact us, I think this actually shows everything. So here we go, technical support. So obviously you can email us. So we have email. We do offer private one-on-one training by the hour there. So again, if you want that, um, just email us again. Pretty much everything goes through email. So email is the one-stop shop for support there. All right, so we have that. And as you mentioned, we have Discord, right? So Discord is for other, Bloodhound and Blackbird users to help you. So Shark Indicators does not officially provide support through Discord. Our only official support is through our email address there. Right? But yeah, you can get support there. And and of course these workshops. Sorry, yeah. I knew there was one more I was going to mention. The obvious one, is these workshops here, right? Which are every week there, right? So Bloodhound was yesterday, Thursdays, and of course today is Blackbird. Right? So there you go. There's your 3 avenues to get support. So these workshops, and let me go back here. These workshops, email us or Discord right there. Okay. Yeah, I have no clue as to why some of these videos may not be working for you. Yeah, I would see if you can do a Google search and find out, if there's some kind of YouTube restrictions for wherever you're located. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, so all right, so I'm on support on the main documentation page here. And let's go into the getting started videos and let's pull up number 5. And yeah, there we go. It works for me. And then of course it's always handy to go full screen there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that YouTube doesn't work for everybody. I always thought it did. All right, so let's see. Looks like that's it for the questions so far. Yeah, you're welcome, Ronaldo. You bet. All right, well, gentlemen, I'm ready for the next question to come in here. Yeah, so to keep kind of emphasizing, put, bringing up this point again here about Blackbird only takes one trade at a time. So I can just see from price action here, right? We are one contract short still. So yeah, I can just see by the price action here Man, I'm losing my voice already. That, this was probably, yeah, this would have been the short entry signal, right? And then price just bounces up and down. So Blackbird's ignoring all these other short signals there, right? So it looks like right here, the first profit target was hit. So, because we could see that there was only one profit target left. So that first one was probably hit on this down move there. So, and then when a reversal signal comes in, we can see here that Blackbird, closed out that short trade automatically and then opened up the long trade. All right, gentlemen. Somebody out there must have some more questions for me. I know you guys are regulars, but you don't know it all yet. So at least you wouldn't be coming to this workshop if you knew everything yet. So go ahead, fire off some questions for me. Ronaldo's asking, does that example have trailing? No, it does not. Yeah, is asking any limitations on automatic trailing and trailing stops. No, no. We haven't put any limitations in. So, um, but no, I didn't actually select a trailing stop loss. I just put something together super quick there. I could have. So yeah, let me delete these stop losses here. There, right? So when you select on the stop loss, right, you can see it presents you with a quick list here, right, to get you started quickly here, right? So these are just kind of starting points here. And so the fixed ones, as they all say, these are all fixed stop losses. If you want a trailing stop loss to get started, right, you could always start with a custom stop loss and then you define everything yourself, right? But if you wanted to get started with a trailing version of that, so there we go. There, right? So there's a 10 tick with trailing, right? A 10 tick trailing with a break even, right? And here's the ATR trailing there, for example. So yeah, let me select that ATR one there. And then again, I'll knock this back down to 5.5 ATRs, like so. And then if we go into the trailing actions tab here, right, there we go. So there is our trailing rule there. And we can see that the trailing rule is, right, it's still set to 1.5, right, negative 1.5 ATR trailing there. So we'd also need to go into the action and adjust our ATR multiplier there, right? So we'll knock that down to also negative 5.5. There we go. So now we've updated our trailing offset distance, right, to match the initial placement of that stop loss there. All right, so now with that, now I can go in here and I can copy that stop loss there. Hit that. There we go. So now both of these have a trailing stop loss. Click OK. And now the current trade that's open does not get modified. So that was still a fixed stop loss. But now that we're flat, so once Blackbird goes flat, now you can see now it says the new settings are active. So always keep an eye on the bottom left here. So these messages in blue are coming from Blackbird. So Blackbird is communicating with you, letting you know, where, what, um, yeah, um, it's communicating, yeah, various states to you there. So, all right, so now we do have a trailing stop loss here. So let's see, as soon as, yeah, if the market would go up past our, well, actually, yeah, I'm not sure where. I think, okay, yeah, there you go. So there's the trailing there. Good. All right, thank you. I'm glad the market finally worked with me to provide me some examples here. All right, another question tackled. So once again, gentlemen, I'm ready for another question to come in here. Since Renato's the only one running the show right now, um, I will. Yeah, I'll keep the workshop open at least until the top of the hour here. Even if there's no more questions, I'll keep the workshop open until the top of the hour because I know people usually kind of trickle in about an hour late there. So I'll give them an opportunity, right? Um, yeah. So again, guys, I'm just waiting for more questions to come in here. So it's a little too early to start the timer yet. Haven't even reached the 1 hour mark. So I will keep the workshop open for at least 1 hour minimum there. So. Well, since I'm waiting for questions, I'm a little bored here. Let's modify our stop loss so that our stop loss moves to break even once that first profit target is hit, right? Once that first profit target is filled, we'll move our stop loss to break even. So what I need to do here is go into, right, the stop loss that will be remaining. Let's go into the trailing rolls here. And I'm going to add a trailing roll. So we'll call this a break even at profit target A is filled. There we go, right? So we do need a trigger, so we're going to use the triggers to identify when profit target A is filled, right? This profit target A. So, all right, let's see here. So the trigger that we want is the order status changed, right? So let's go select our profit target, right? There is our profit target A. And we're looking to identify when it is filled, right? There we go. When that profit target is filled, then the action is we're going to move our stop loss order to, we're going to move it to the, well, since we have two order sets here, right? Two contracts. Let's move it to the average entry price, right? In case we get a split fill. So I'll move it to the average entry price. And then for good measure, I'll add a 2-tick offset there, like so. So let's see. So this will actually be a break even plus 2. There we go. All right. Yeah. And let's see. What is our profit target? Yeah. So this remaining profit target is a 5 ATR. And our stop loss is a trailing 5.5. So basically, our stop loss is not going to trail anymore. After that. So, yeah. All right. So with any luck, the market might hit our first profit target. So we can see our stop loss moving to break even. Oh, and have you noticed, right? The stop loss is moving at the close of each bar. So it's not moving as price moves up tick by tick. So let's go in and let's make that adjustment as well here. So, and there we go. Our stop loss just moved to break even plus 2 there. All right. So anyways, let's make this stop loss move on a tick by tick basis here. Right. So I have the first stop loss open. So here's our ATR trailing. So we're going to go into the repeat section, right? And by default, it's set to 1 bar, right? So every time a bar closes, that's when our stop loss gets updated, right? So we can adjust this so that it's updated every tick here. So ticks of movement there. Yeah, so obviously we want our stop loss to move whenever the market moves in a profitable direction there. Right. So there we go. So change this from bars to ticks of movement, and there we go. So now our stop loss will move tick by tick, and we need to do the same thing for our second stop loss here. We're going to go into the ATR trailing rule here and go into the repeat there, and again we can see, right, it's set to once per bar. And so let's update this to ticks of movement in a profitable direction. And there we go. All right, so there we have it. So once this trade closes out, we'll see our stop loss will start moving on a tick by tick basis. right, there we go. So now our stop loss is moving tick by tick there. There we go. Yep. All right, gentlemen. Still waiting on another question to come in here. So, yeah. And again, if I don't see any more questions coming in by the top of the hour, then I'll end up uh, closing up this workshop a little earlier than normal. All right, let's see. Tyrone wants to ask a yes or no question about Bloodhound. Yeah, um, I've always answered, yeah, simple Bloodhound questions here. So, but I don't open Bloodhound, and dive into into the interface of Bloodhound, but I at least point people in the right direction, or yeah, give them a simple answer. So fire away, Tyrone. Yes, it can. And actually, there's one, at least one, but probably two, maybe even three videos showing how to do that. Um, yeah, so Tyrone's asking, can you show your entry signals in one color set and your exit signals in a different color set? And yeah, just um, you know, yeah. For some reason, people seem to think that Bloodhound doesn't have to or doesn't obey the laws of indicators as set by NinjaTrader, right? And it does. At the end of the day, Bloodhound is just an indicator that plots on the chart like all other indicators plot on the chart. So you can add as many Bloodhounds to your chart as NinjaTrader will allow, and you can change the colors, just like any other indicator. You can customize those colors as you see fit, right? So, that has nothing to the number of bloodhounds you can add and the colors that you set your plots to actually have nothing to do with our code, with the code of Bloodhound. That is all controlled by NinjaTrader. So it's just NinjaTrader's charting framework, right? So it's the code that runs the chart, which is what allows you to add as many indicators as you want. And since Bloodhound is just another indicator, albeit it has a fancy interface, but at the end of the day, it's just an indicator that runs inside a NinjaTrader. So yeah, so you can add as many bloodhounds as you want, change the colors up as you see fit, right? And yeah, so all right, boy, took a while to open up that interface, but but yeah. Let's see if I can find something here. It's probably too long of a search term for YouTube, but we'll see we'll see what comes up here. Yeah, I figured. Um, Actually, let me shorten this up. Well, all right. YouTube doesn't want to find it for me. Let's see if I can change my search term here. Hmm. Uh-oh. My phone was supposed to be on mute. Sorry about that, guys. Um, well, there's zero description of this video here. Man, bummer. Um, well, yeah, sorry, Tyrone. Couldn't find it, but um, based on how you asked your question, I'm sure you'll figure it out. I'm sure you understand exactly what needs to be done there. So, well, all right, gentlemen. Let's see. It's 5 minutes after the top of the hour, and actually, no new people have joined us. So that's kind of what I was expecting and waiting on. Since there's no new people in the room here, and I haven't had any Blackbird questions in the last 15 minutes, I'm gonna wrap it up early today. So it's just one of those short days in the workshop. Let's see here. Yeah, there were no topics um, to post from this workshop. So there won't be any recordings from this workshop here. And remember, if you have questions that you want answered in these workshops, you can always email those questions in anytime during the week, and I will make sure to get it answered by the next workshop. All right. So, yeah. All right. With that, gentlemen, you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.